Hello everyone, it's your casual gamer Meep here, and today I'm going to be listing what I think are the top 10 survivor perks in Dead by Daylight. With my 4,000 hours of playtime, this list is in my opinion from my experiences. Take it as a grain of salt, as this might not be reflective of what you think. But overall, comment below if you agree or disagree with my choices and subscribe for more content down below. Starting with number 10, we have Decisive Strike. After being unhooked for up to 60 seconds, if the killer attempts to pick you up again within that time frame, during the pickup animation you'll be presented with a skill check. If you hit that skill check, the killer will drop you and they will be stunned for 5 seconds, allowing you time to escape to a safer area of the map and possibly making them not want to chase you anymore. If you do hit the skill check and you're not the killer's obsession, you will then become the killer's obsession by succeeding the skill check. If, however, you fail a skill check, the perk will be deactivated and you will no longer be able to use it for the rest of that trial. This is a very strong anti-tunneling perk, however, if you attempt to advance the game in any way by working on, say, generators, unhooking another survivor, healing yourself or someone else, totem cleansing, you kinda get the idea, it'll deactivate the perk before the 60-second timer is up. If the killer does tunnel you and you use your Decisive Strike, being chased one more time can buy your teammates precious time to finish their objectives without them being pressured. Prior to being changed with all these added restrictions onto it, Decisive Strike would have easily been in the top 3, however, since its changes, it has seen a decrease in player usage. Overall, though its intended purpose, it is still really good at what it is intended, which is to stop tunneling. Coming in at number 9, we have Dead Hard. Dead Hard is an activatable exhaustion perk that is usable only while injured. It grants you a burst of speed forward and invincibility for a split second from all attacks. After using it though, you suffer from the exhaustion status effect for 40 seconds. Dead Hard can be a very strong perk, allowing you to extend chase times by dodging hits, or in most cases, at least at high ranks, using it to gain distance between you and a pallet or window vault that would otherwise be out of your reach. Being able to extend your chases by even a few extra seconds can be impactful in the long-term sense, as seconds do matter in this game, very much so. For a strong impact, and being so low on the tier list, this perk does, however, suffer from dedicated service at times, due to survivors wanting to use it right as the killer swings in order to maximize its value. But this can result in you being exhausted on the floor. And another downside is, once you use it, the killer knows you have it for the rest of the trial, and will often wait out the Dead Hard by getting as close as possible whenever they can before swinging. That being said, its impact cannot be understated, as it opens up riskier, high-reward, high-risk plays, and places it on this list. Next up at number 8, we have Adrenaline. Once the exit gates are powered, Adrenaline activates, healing you 1 health state and giving you a speed boost of 150% movement speed for 5 seconds. If you're also in the dream world against a Freddy, you will also be woken up at that time. This perk is situational, as it does require you to make it to the end of the game, or be the last survivor if the killer closes the hatch, thus triggering the endgame collapse. In right situations, such as being chased at the very end, it can extend your chases, and if you're slugged on the ground, it can pick you up from the dying state, removing the killer's pressure. And this is just if one person runs it. If all 4 of your teammates run it, this can be pretty game-changing at the end. Overall though, it is a really strong perk, however, you have to make it to that endgame in order to get the benefit out of it. But with that being said, it's a really good perk. Coming in at number 7, we have Will Make It. After unhooking Survivor for up to 90 seconds, your healing speed will be increased by 100%. It's a pretty straightforward perk and can be very impactful, as it's a non-teachable, so it's available to all survivors. Apart from doing generators and traveling between them, survivors are going to be spending most of their time healing, as it takes away from the killer's pressure. And 90 seconds is a long time to have this powerful effect, as it cuts your healing time in half normally and gets your injured and dying state survivors back to healthy in no time. This is also one of my favorite perks in the game, so I do have sort of a personal bias to it, and for good reason too. The downside to this perk is that if you don't unhook anyone, then you won't get any value out of it because it won't be activated. But with that being said, it can come in clutch in very serious situations and reset your team's progress. With that being said, it encourages you to work with your team, which is essential for the long-term sense of the game, and it places it at number 7. At number 6, we have Unbreakable. Unbreakable allows you to recover in the dying state 35% faster, and once per trial, you can pick yourself up from the dying state without any assistance from either survivors or other perks. This effect can be very powerful on its own if a single survivor uses it, because being able to revive yourself can save your teammates time by not having to leave their objectives and come and heal you that little bit of time. At critical moments such as when the killer wants to start slugging the whole team, one Unbreakable is strong enough to salvage the situation by being able to revive the others and to turn the game around. The only downside of this perk is that it requires you to be slugged long enough to fully recover, which is about 20-ish seconds, and in most situations, the killer is going to pick you up immediately. Overall, it's probably the best anti-slugging perk available to survivors, and warrants its placement here on the list at number 6. Moving on to the top 5, we have Spine Chill. If the killer is looking in your direction within 36 meters of your location, the perk icon will light up, giving you a visual cue of the killer's approach. While this perk is activated, you also gain action speeds towards various actions, including generator repair, healing, cleansing, saboing, and vaulting. The main purpose of this perk, however, is for the killer detection, and now with there being so many stealth killers like the Wraith, Michael Myers, Ghostface, just to name a few, and so many stealth-related perks that take away your terror radius, this overall is a very strong perk in various loadouts. And the 6% action speed boost is nothing to take for granted, as in critical situations, it can help you finish a much-needed generator that would otherwise be kicked, and help finish a heal as the killer approaches. And the vaulting speed is something that a lot of players like to use, and often like to combine it with resilience for the vault speed build. And because it's a non-teachable perk, it makes it easily available to all survivors. Coming in at number 4 is Sprint Burst, an exhaustion perk that upon running, you sprint on the 150% movement speed for 3 seconds, after which you're exhausted for 40 seconds. Out of all the exhaustion perks, Sprint Burst is the easiest to activate by simply running, and it's least likely to be denied due to the exhaustion add-ons or perks. With that being said, this exhaustion perk does require the most tactfulness by knowing when to walk to prevent it from activating prematurely. Being able to run away at high speeds can potentially deter the killer from wanting to chase you at critical points, as it can allow you to get to safer areas of the map with either strong windows or pallets. Overall, it's a strong perk with a strong effect, and it's deserving of a spot here on this list. Next up at number 3, we have Kindred. When one of our teammates are hooked, the aura of all other survivors is revealed to us, and if the killer is within 16 meters of the hook, their aura is revealed to us as well. And if we're hooked, the other survivors will see each other's aura, and the killer's within 16 meters of our hook. From a user's perspective, it can allow you to coordinate with your teammates without the use of comms, to see if someone's going for the hook save or not. That way you know if you need to leave your objective, such as a generator or a totem, in order to go for the save yourself. If someone's not going for the hook save, then you know that you need to be the one to go for it, as you've had the information available with this perk. And keeping your teammates alive is important for the long-term sense of the trial. If the killer is camping the hook area, or even face camping, you need to make the decision as to whether you try and hook swap with the person that's on the hook, or keep working on your objectives, because the killer is wasting time by not pressuring the rest of you. These decisions also rest in your fellow survivors' hands, as if you're on the hook with Kindred, then it's up for them to make the decision as to what they need to do. Because of its strong information applications and being an aura reading perk, and that aura reading perks are never not useful, it deserves its spot here at number 3. At number 2, we have Bond. Bond is a pretty straightforward perk that allows you to see the aura of your teammates if they're within 36 meters of your location. Similar to Kindred, aura reading with your teammates is never not useful. Unlike Kindred, however, Bond is always active from the start of the trial until the end. With the aura reading of Bond, you can see if your teammates are working on generators that are nearby or totems, and or being chased depending if you see them dropping pallets or vaulting windows repeatedly, which can be valuable information to allow you to know where the killer is at times, without directly seeing their aura. Also, if you're the one being chased by the killer, you'll be able to see your teammates and know where not to go, so as you don't interrupt them working on objectives like generators or totems, for instance. Bond is overall a very solid perk and worth running in a lot of builds. And finally at number 1, we have Borrowed Time, otherwise known as BT. Each time you unhook a survivor with Borrowed Time, the unhooked survivor gains the endurance status effect for 12 seconds, allowing that survivor to take an additional hit before being put into the dying state. With its recent change of removing the terror radius requirement for unhooking, it's only gotten stronger by allowing for safer plays against certain killers. The killers who previously could deny Borrowed Time's activation included Freddy if you're asleep, the Hag who can teleport to trap survivors on hook, and stealth killers that could go undetectable, thus removing their terror radius so that Borrowed Time would not activate. Now that it can affect every killer, it's universally a good perk for any perk loadout, and its strong effect in altruism gives it its number 1 spot here on the list. With that being said, what do you think about the list? Leave a comment below if you agree or disagree with the choices that I decided to make. And with that being said, I am Meat3, and remember the 3 Gs. Good games, good luck, and goodbye for now.